Hi, One Life families. It's Erin here. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. I hope you've had a chance to continue to work in our resource, The Gospel in Color. I know I've really been enjoying the book. It's brought some great conversations in our family, and I hope that it's happening in yours as well. I did want to say that if you have questions or if there are some topics that are wondering about or things like that, feel free to email me. But I do want to put the disclaimer out there that I am really still learning about this and what it means to be anti-racist and a co-conspirator and an active ally, and it's something that I have taken classes on and learned through, but there's still a lot to do, and so just want to make sure to put that out there, but that I do want this resource to be something that you really embrace, and so if there's some way I can help with that, I would love to do it. And then with that, I guess I also wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of fatigue, and I know as this fight continues, that's something that I really want to be aware of and make sure that I'm pacing myself and yet still making sure that I have the energy to keep this up, because it doesn't stop. It's not like once we're done with The Gospel in Color, we're going to be done with that and we check the box. Like, it's something that we will be actively doing for the rest of our lives. And I just want to say that, yeah, it's not a moment, it's a movement, and we want to make sure that that is really true. And so just to also want to point that out, to make sure that if you're sort of feeling that, like, take a rest, but you can slow down, but don't stop. Like, in fact, that was a message that was loud and clear to me this week as I was going for a run, and I was just thinking about all the different things and life and all that stuff, and I was getting physically tired because I was running, but also just emotionally and other things like that, and it was like clear as day. God was like, you can slow down, but you can't stop. And I just was like, yep, that is it. So I hope that's encouraging for you. I know it was for me. Like, you're right, God, like, slow down. You can let your foot off the pedal, but don't stop. So that was something that I just wanted to share with you. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that I was going through a couple of different things this week. One of them that I watched was a live feed from Ijeoma Oluo, who actually wrote the book So You Want to Talk About Race, which is an excellent resource. If you haven't read it yet, please do so. She's a great author. She lives right here in Shoreline, and it was she was actually talking with her brother. It was put on by the library, and they recorded it, and it was all about Juneteenth. But one thing that really struck me was that she said, it's not what we can't lose sight of what we are fighting against, but we also need to remember what we're fighting for. And that like flipped in my mind, that idea that we are fighting for Black joy, for that. And I think in my mind a lot of times it's just this idea of we're fighting against racism, we're fighting against, which we are, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we are fighting for Black joy. And I think was something that I need to continue to put in the forefront of my mind, that this is something that we're also fighting for. So with all that, I hope you had a chance to dive into that first chapter. It's all about what is race. I felt like they did a great job of breaking it down in understandable terms for kids. They talked a lot about, just the idea that, from Genesis, it was that first chapter, right? God made all things good. He loved it, and that's how it is. Race was a concept that was made by man, not by God. In the sense that there are different races, ones that are better or worse. Like, there's the human race, which God made, but that gets tricky, so we won't go quite into that. But just the idea that all human colors are special since they bear God's image, right? So I just wanted to say that I felt was like a really great. I idea, and that just getting that concept of race down, of what that means, is a great building block, because the next chapter is what is racism. So got to know about race before you know racism. So hopefully you had a chance to go through that with your kids. I have also put a link on the website for the next chapter, what is racism, and the coloring sheet that goes, the Bible verse, that coloring sheet that goes with that memory verse too. So we've been kind of writing those out, and we did the coloring sheet, and we have them up in our kitchen, so as a good reminder for us to do those things. So anyways, I hope you have a great day. Again, I hope you're digging into the color, the gospel in color, and we'll see you next week.